The Last Letter, a realistic story set in the USA 2010. It was the autumn of 2010 in Boston, Massachusetts. The leaves had turned bright shades of red and gold, and the cold breeze reminded everyone that winter was just around the corner. 32-year-old Daniel Carter worked as a mail carrier for the United States Postal Service. Every morning at 6:30 a.m., he loaded hundreds of letters into his delivery truck and drove through the quiet neighborhoods of Boston. His life was simple. He lived alone in a small apartment, drank black coffee every morning, and believed that every letter carried a story. One rainy Tuesday, Daniel noticed an old white envelope at the bottom of his mailbag. The handwriting looked shaky and the stamp had almost peeled away. The address read, Mrs. Eleanor Brooks, 14 Willow Street, Boston, Massachusetts. When Daniel arrived at the house, he noticed it looked abandoned. The paint was peeling, the garden was overgrown, and the mailbox was rusty. He knocked on the door. No answer. An elderly neighbor stepped outside and quietly said, Eleanor moved into a nursing home almost a year ago. Daniel thanked her but couldn't stop thinking about the letter. That evening, instead of throwing it into the undeliverable mail pile, he searched public records and found the nursing home's address. The next morning, after finishing his route, he drove there. Inside, a nurse smiled. Mrs. Brooks doesn't get many visitors, she said. Daniel handed her the envelope. Moments later, the nurse returned. She wants to meet you. Daniel entered a small room where an 84-year-old woman sat beside a window. She looked at the envelope with trembling hands. I've been waiting for this, she whispered. Slowly, she opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter from her younger brother, Thomas. He had written it before passing away from cancer. The letter had somehow been delayed and misplaced for months. Tears rolled down Eleanor's face as she read every word. Thomas had written, Dear Ellie, if you're reading this, I hope you're smiling. Life may separate us, but love never does. Thank you for being the best sister anyone could ask for. Don't spend your remaining years feeling lonely. Remember every laugh we shared, every Christmas dinner, every summer by the lake. I love you forever, your little brother Thomas. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Finally, Eleanor looked at Daniel. You brought me my last gift from my brother. Daniel simply smiled. Over the following weeks, Daniel began visiting her every Sunday. They talked about old music, baseball games, family memories, and the changing seasons. Eleanor often baked cookies for him using recipes she'd learned in the 1950s. Daniel realized that sometimes people didn't need money or expensive presents. They only needed someone willing to listen. As Christmas approached, Daniel organized a small surprise. He invited several volunteers from the neighborhood, decorated the nursing home's common room, and collected old family photographs from Eleanor's relatives. When Eleanor entered the room, she was speechless. For the first time in years, she celebrated Christmas surrounded by people who cared about her. She laughed, she cried, she hugged everyone. That evening, she quietly told Daniel, You reminded me that kindness still exists. Spring arrived in 2011.